Starting. Okay, we're live. Okay, Audacity. Oh shoot, I didn't test it. Okay, well, whatever. Okay, three, two, one. Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 132 of the Security Podcast, Security on the In30 Network. My name is Haim Cohen. We have Tom, and today we want to talk about the stuff you're going to do at Thanksgiving other than eat turkey. So, Tom, what do you do other than eating turkey?
Usually I take a dinner roll. I split it in half. I fill both halves with mashed potatoes. Usually I add a bit of corn, then the turkey and the gravy. Make a nice Thanksgiving sandwich and chow down on as many of those as humanly possible. I think last year I got 6 down before I passed out.
So my sister read some sort of statistic. I don't know if she found it on Facebook or not, that said the average family Thanksgiving cost for 10 people is $46. And I said, that's insanely low. That must be 46 a person. And she swore up and down that it was 46 total. So I don't know if you're the cook. I don't know if you're the cook in the family.
I am not.
But I think $46 for 10 people is way too low.
Yeah, there's no way. There's no way. I'm going to have to do some math later and figure that out.
I mean, even with the free turkey, I still think you're off by a multitude of probably 10. I think it's more like $400 for a family of 10.
Yeah, that would sound more accurate.
So $46 a person. So anyway. So again, we're recording Monday. Hopefully you get this before you start eating, but you're about to head over to somebody's house, probably somebody who's not tech savvy. And if you don't do it for Thanksgiving, you're going to do it for Christmas and Hanukkah or whatever holiday in the fall. And they're going to ask you for all these things. We want to specifically talk about what you should do and some of the talking points, because we hear a lot of misinformation and we just want to straighten it out. So you don't hear people say, oh, I heard Facebook Messenger, the NSA can't read it, this and that. And we want to make sure that you know what to say and the best way to say it to keep everyone more secure.
Yeah, there's every time I go over to a relative's house, aside from the general tech support stuff of, hey, my computer's running slow, can you make it better? Well, kind of. It's like 15 years old and running Windows XP still. We should probably just replace it. There's generally security questions of, hey, I think I'm sending out spam because people keep telling me that I keep sending them weird emails with links in them. What do I do about that? What can I do to fix that? And then, some of the younger people in my family will say, I read about this NSA thing and everyone's reading our stuff. How do I make sure that doesn't happen anymore? So you get a wide variety of questions if you're the tech guy in your family. There's a couple simple things that are easy for everyone to do to make yourselves just a little bit more secure. And now is the time of year that we're all going to get together, and you can do your part for the family to help push people in the right direction just a little bit.
So the first thing we always say is backup. You get to a computer you're unknown about, backup. And if you're listening to this now live or you're there, you know what? See if you can buy a very large USB key, at least a USB key, if not a hard drive, a portable hard drive. But do whoever you're going to a favor, go to Costco, get the 3-pack of 32 gigabyte USB cards, thumb drives, just to have that, but backup. And then I would say in that backup, install some sort of cloud software. And I know for everyone else, we're saying maybe not cloud software, but again, these are your relatives. You want to set it and forget it type thing.
Yeah, if you install backup software that your grandmother has to click backup photos on every week or every day, it's never going to happen. Backup's not backup if you have to initiate it. So I suggest, I personally use CrashPlan. It works on everything, including Linux. I have used Carbonite in the past. That also works great. There's Mosey at Home. There's like Backblaze. You can throw a rock and hit a backup company in the cloud. So pick one and go for it. A lot of these guys will offer family plans. So if you want to get a whole chunk of these done during the holiday, you throw down one big chunk of change and they'll say, okay, unlimited backup for 10 computers for 1 year. And then as you encounter a family member that's not backing up anything, you can say, yeah, I'll fix that for you. I've got like 6 machines left. And you can just add them onto the plan, install the software, and walk away. The rest takes care of itself. You'll even get emails if for some reason their machine hasn't backed up in a week. That's really helpful for me. But it's cloud backup. It's easy to do. It keeps things safe, and you know that hard drive's going to die. You know that this 10-year-old computer that your uncle just won't get rid of because it's perfect for him. It's going to have a major catastrophic failure, and all of his data is going to go away. Get ahead of the curve. Do your family a favor.
So, or if you want to do it the way we've discussed, set up either Dropbox or Spider Oak or Google Drive or Microsoft Cloud Drive, one of them. Set up Google Photos or figure out how to use iTunes Photos. Just do something for them as far as a backup. Next, always update the machine. Sit there, update everything.
This takes a while. This is especially if we're talking about old Windows machines that for some reason they turned off automatic updates. I've been there. I've done that, and it's well, I'll come over. Get there, check the machine as soon as you get in because that question's going to come up. Start the backups. Go have Thanksgiving dinner. Click reboot. Do the next set of backups. Go watch the football game. Click reboot. Do the next set of backups. Eat some more turkey because it's Thanksgiving. Why not? And then reboot and do more upgrades. This is probably the most important thing on our list is keep these machines up to date and enable automatic updates so you don't have to bother with it in the future.
Again, I think the order should be first back up the main files, the documents, the music, the photos, things that you can't get back. Do that first before you update, just in case something breaks. Now, if you're listening to this, happened to me, and I know that Steve Gibson of Security Now has been talking about it. If you have Windows 7 and you have very basic, you just got Windows 7 without any updates, Windows Update does not work. You have to update Windows Update first. So you're going to sit there and say 150 updates. Okay, it's going to get to 149. It's going to fail, revert back everything. So if you're starting from a brand new machine, first thing you should be doing is getting to Windows Update, updating Windows Update and going from there. This is a common problem. So if you run into it, you got to go online and figure out what the newest way to do this is. But this is a Microsoft thing. They've acknowledged it, and don't think you're the only one. So just heads up tip.
Yeah, a couple months ago, I rebuilt my Windows gaming machine. And yes, I do have a Windows machine in the house. It's the only one left. But I rebuilt it, and it was, Windows 7 Service Pack nothing. So I had to go through and do these updates. It literally took 14 hours for everything to finish churning through the system. It was terrible. But these new updates that Microsoft put out that, get Windows Update into a good state, they can shorten that time to, a couple hours. It's still annoying. It's not going to get rid of all the annoyance, but, you're not wasting literally over half a day waiting for updates.
And also, look, Tom and I are not big fans of Windows 10, but you know what? For your relatives, it's always good to be on the same system. So if you're on Windows 7 at home, maybe you should get them on there, but I would really try and push them to Windows 10 just in case other people can help them other than you. Because one of the things I tell people is that if you're going to do this, be ready. You're the tech support person. So if you're going to take them down this rabbit hole, make sure that you're ready to tech support it all the way through. So backing up and updating doesn't do much for you, but if you're going to move them to Windows 10 or you're going to show them a new program, you're the one they're going to call. So be ready before you do anything else.
And along those same lines, if you have the opportunity to, especially with Christmas coming up, if you have the opportunity to move one of your relatives to a new machine and they're not, a super technical user, they don't use Photoshop, they basically use, Gmail and Facebook and Twitter and, do some online banking, just give them a Chromebook, right? What's the one application that everyone's using? They're using a web browser. And most of the time, that's all they need. So if how your family members will use the machine, give them a Chromebook. It updates itself. It stays secure. It doesn't get viruses. It is hands-off tech support for you for years until they drop it and break it, which has happened in the past. But I mean, that machine, as far as the software goes, I don't touch it anymore. It's one of the best things I've ever bought my family members.
And then, so I second that, and the hard push is what I need Microsoft Word, and I have to explain to them you don't need Microsoft Word. What you're going to do is you're going to use Google Docs, and it's going to work. But a lot of people cannot get rid of that. Same with iTunes. So that may be a harder sell if it's their absolute primary machine, but that's on you, and your mileage may vary on what you want to do. The other thing is I would set Chrome or Firefox as the default to make sure that automatically updates. In fact, we've said this website lots of times. Ninite, Ninite.com. It's they have a whole bunch of free software with installers that automatically choose the boxes for no ads, no ask.com toolbars, no doc icons, all that good stuff. You choose the stuff you want. You hit download, you install, you go eat some turkey, you come back, and you're golden.
Yeah, it automatically bundles all of these installers. So let's say you want, you want LibreOffice, you want Chrome, you want like an instant messenger if they still use a terrestrial instant messenger. You want VLC media player, just the basic stuff. So you go and check the box on Ninite, hit download, and it gives you one executable, a really tiny thing. You double click it, it's done. It's the easiest thing ever.
And then finally, when you leave, okay, Tom and I were arguing about this a little before the show. My recommendation was to install an app called TeamViewer. I want to call it naggingware. It's free. And the way they make money is they overcharge the enterprise. And all you have to do is like Winamp, you have to hit, okay, thank you for letting me use this. I won't bother me next time. But I would install it, but I would absolutely make sure it doesn't automatically run on startup. I would install it, make sure it works, connect it to your home machine, make sure you can do everything, it's logged in. And then when you get a tech support call, you say, do me a favor, double click this icon, show them where that icon is, make a shortcut to a hidden area so everything's good there, and then control it. But absolutely do not let it auto run.
Yeah, it's TeamViewer. I have an internal battle with it. So on one hand, it is absolutely the de facto standard for remote tech support right now. That's not enterprisey and big and expensive. It's simple. It's easy to do. It's easy to add stuff into like a short list. We can just double click and get into machines. I know, tech guys that I work with use this for all of their relatives' computers all the time, both as, somebody calls you and they say something's broken, and as, hey, let's just make sure they've got updates. Let's make sure that, Flash and Chrome are updated to the fullest, the latest patch set. On the other hand, it's TeamViewer, and they've had security issues in the past. It is opening up a gateway to that machine directly, to the internet. It's not like the wide open internet where you're just opening the floodgates, but it's still a door, right? And you're relying on TeamViewer to provide that security. I think, installing TeamViewer, but making sure that doesn't start on startup, making sure the door is not always open in there, is a pretty good compromise for easy remote tech support and trying to keep the system secure. But if you can do without it,
go for it. And then before we move on to anything else, remind your family again that nobody's calling you from Windows or Microsoft saying you have a virus on it. If anything like that happens, tell them, oh, you have a tech support person, and say, hang up and call you. And you'll tell them that it's actually fake.
Yes, please, please, please drive this point home with your family members. I've had people close to me get bitten by this, and it is not fun. Those systems are horribly, horribly infected with the worst stuff imaginable, and they have to now go to the bank or the credit card company to try to reverse charges for some fraudulent company in some place around the world. It is just not a good thing. So Microsoft will never call you ever, for any reason.
You can't even call them, basically.
Yeah. It's Microsoft, Google. If someone says there's something wrong with your computer in a phone call, you hang up. Drive that point home. That's really important.
So you got the main computer done. Next, you're going to be sitting around the table and you're going to hear politics and religion and not the weather. And somebody's going to say, oh, we have to worry about encryption. I heard blank. And you need to step in and say and know your stuff. But if somebody's asking you what instant messenger, what secure chat they should use, oh, I heard about Signal. Absolutely push Signal. tell them this is what it is and explain to them how simple it is to install, especially if they have an Android phone. And if they're on iMessage, explain to them, well, iMessage is secure. It's not secure from nation states. And explain that your neighbor is not going to be snooping on your iMessage, but the government may, and they probably are. And if they want more security, here's an opportunity to talk about how awesome Signal is and what to do and how to move to it.
But isn't Signal free? Doesn't mean that I'm the product. Aren't they taking my data and selling it to the highest bidder?
Well, no, which is a good thing. They're being funded. There is a huge. It's open source. People are donating to it, and a lot of very private individuals are funding this whole thing.
So yeah, if your family members want a better, more secure way to chat than Google Hangouts or Facebook Messenger, Signal is the way to go. WhatsApp is a little bit more feature complete, but Signal is still the gold standard that you want to push.
Well, you said it best a few months ago. Signal is the reference app. This is the app that the others want to meet. And it's easy. Look, if they're on Android, show them it does text messaging. So all you have to do is you text it, nothing changes. But if everyone has Signal, then it becomes encrypted. You can do group chats, you can leave group chats, all the same things as everything else. But you're going to get a lot more mileage with either Facebook Messenger or WhatsApp, and specifically WhatsApp, because a lot of people have it. So you can show them, hey, look, it does voice calls. Oh, wait, it does video calls, which turned on and is beautiful. We're still not sure whether the video calls are encrypted, but at least we know that they're there. So you can say, here, the phone calls are encrypted, the text messages are encrypted, everything's encrypted, and everyone has it. And WhatsApp has a really spiffy desktop client. That's, you just go to the website and it just works.
Yeah, it's absolutely fantastic. That's one knock against Signal that they are working on, they are going to fix, is that their web app isn't quite as good. But, you know, that will come with time. Facebook Messenger, you might have read that it's using the Signal protocol. It is. But you have to specifically enable a private conversation. It will not do it by default. By default, Facebook can read literally everything you put into Facebook Messenger. So if you want it private, set the private messaging option. But again, that's not a guarantee, right? Facebook still owns this stuff. WhatsApp still owns their stuff. Signal still owns their stuff, to be fair. So yeah, just be mindful of where your data is.
On the Facebook front, you have to choose one device and it can't be the desktop. So you choose your phone, you say, I want this. And if it sends a private conversation and somebody does it, it will only go to that one device. And for, I don't want to say old people, but very old millennials. How about that? Is that a good word, Tom? Old millennials?
We could say that. Am I an old millennial? I don't even know where that line is.
81. So if you were born after 81, you were a millennial.
Okay, that makes me a millennial.
Okay, unfortunately, we're both millennials, but we don't use our phone for everything. It's not literally strapped to our hip while we're taking showers. We have real jobs at real desks with real computers and keyboards that we like to use. And Facebook Messenger, even private on your phone, doesn't allow that. So if you're a teenager who uses your phone for everything, I mean, there's a problem. So Facebook Messenger can be private conversation on one device. WhatsApp is encrypted end-to-end through the group chats and everything, but the data, again, is shared with Facebook. Not the messages, the metadata, like who you are and what you're doing. Google Allo, same thing. It's public to Google unless you enable private conversation. So here's an opportunity. If they have an Android phone, just switch them to Signal. And people say, but nobody's on it. Well, yeah, but if everyone tells them, they will. And we saw 400%, some articles said 400% increase in Signal users in the last 2 weeks.
I can personally attest to several new contacts flooding Signal in the past, in the week after the election results were released. Hey, so and so's on Signal, say hi. So and so is on Signal now. Hey, I joined Signal. We should chat using this. And the list just went on for me. So it is gaining traction, and that's a great thing.
And if somebody message iMessage and what's wrong with it, it's very simple. Apple controls the keys. And if a government agent comes to them and says, make us also as part of all these contacts, they can, and you won't know anything about it. And we've seen Apple give up iMessage data that they have, iCloud data that they have. And Signal recently was served with a subpoena, and they basically said, "Here's the information," and they had none. They had when they logged in Unix time, which is in Epic time, which was from January 1, 1969 or 1970, but they really couldn't give any information.
Yeah, the only thing Signal was able to give up, because they do destroy all metadata. They don't keep it for any length of time. Is they had, when you created your account, and when you last talked to their servers, and that's it. That's the only thing they were able to give the government under the orders of a subpoena. So it's not like they're just like, oh, well, yeah, this is all we have, guys. Really, we promise. Under penalty of perjury in the U.S. justice system, that is the amount of data they have on you. It's fantastic.
Now, a lot of people are saying, oh, under the new presidential administration, encryption is dead and they're going to do everything. I don't necessarily agree with that. But to that point, if you're afraid, now is a good time with your family to not take pictures and post them on Facebook, or tell them what they should and shouldn't be posting on Facebook. I get really mad when people take pictures of my sons now. You can see I'm in a new nursery, and they just post them on Facebook. And I go, hey, wait a second. And they go, but you do. And I go, yeah, but I'm the dad. You're nothing. So maybe now it's a good time to say, hey, if you don't want that information shared, governments can access that. Employers can access that. Show them privacy settings. Take them to Facebook, show them privacy settings, explain to them that what's being super private versus what people can see, that everyone can read Twitter and all that other good stuff.
Yeah, the amount of times it's kind of waned over the years as Twitter has declined in mass popularity, where CNN was saying the word Twitter every 30 seconds. But the amount of times I've seen on Twitter where someone is at messaging someone and expecting that to be a private conversation and putting very, very private details into this very, very public space, and someone else, some third party, comes in and says, hey, you might want to use the direct message feature, and they freak out. They're like, oh, this person's spying on me. No, you literally wrote this conversation on the wall of a bathroom stall where other people are sitting. Everyone can read what you post on Twitter unless you do it in a direct message. Even then, don't put like bank account details, social security numbers, that kind of stuff inside of a Twitter direct message. That's not really the place for that. Use an encrypted solution to send those private details.
And remember, what anybody says, encryption's not going away. Encryption is math. You can't break the math. It doesn't work. There will be always new math. There will always be servers in other countries. Encryption is not going away.
Trying to ban encryption would be, if someone tries to ban encryption, that same person would have an equal chance of trying to ban long division or multiplication or subtraction. They just say, hey, look, I don't think long division or polynomials should exist anymore. We banned them. They are now banned. Right? It doesn't make a lot of sense. Same thing with encryption. It's just something we discovered. It's something that exists now. You can't put the genie back in the bottle. Encryption's here to stay.
We're not saying to teach your family how to send PGP emails. If you could, that would be awesome. Like awesome, awesome, awesome. But again, security may cost more money, but they're not going to ban encryption. So, let's say the next step is when you're installing apps and cleaning up your parents' phone or your relative's phone, look for apps that leak metadata or leak security or have permissions that are questionable. Go through it and say, did you really need this app or whatever it is, because you don't know what it's doing. So go through their phone and look at it, update their phone, free up some space, set up a photo backup solution, whether it's Google Photos or what I was telling Tom before, Amazon Cloud Drive, or if they're on an iPhone, make sure Photo Stream is enabled. If they're complaining that they're running out of space, try and help them there, download it to their phone, but try and get their photos backed up, go through their apps and remind, and I would sneakily install Signal and say, oh, by the way, they updated their app icon. Here you go.
One other thing is if you've got a family member that's really interested in making themselves more secure, not just, hey, Tom, you're here. Here's my computer. I broke it. Can you fix it now? Thanks. Bye. Not just the wanting free tech support stuff, but actually wants to be more secure themselves, wants to take on a little bit of personal responsibility. introduce them to LastPass or 1Password or some kind of password manager. But those are going to be the two big highlights for ease of use is LastPass and 1Password. It's easy. It makes their life easier if they care about it. It makes them incredibly way more safer than not using a password manager. And show them two-factor authentication, right? You can install Authy or Google Authenticator. Authy is a little bit more usable than Google Authenticator, but they both basically do the same thing. Try to introduce them to the little concepts that we talk about all the time, because it's the little stuff that adds up over time that makes you more secure online.
I forgot. I just about to say, try to start the seed of two-factor authentication. And one of the people in our WhatsApp group really loves the Google questionnaire, which basically says, "Hey, we noticed you logged in. Is this you?" And when you log in, you have to say yes. So they don't have to put a 6-digit code. All they have to do is on their phone, they have to hit yes, which, again, not the securest thing, but it's still way more secure than nothing.
Yeah, it's great. If somebody in another country or even another part of your country that you don't usually log in from, if someone tries to log into your Google account, Google will go, "Whoa, hold on there, buddy. It says you here. You're in Russia right now, aren't you?" And you go, "No, I'm not. I'm here in good old Ohio." Denied. And it locks them out of that account and says, "Hey, by the way, change your password because some dude in Russia just used it." Not to pick on Russia or anything. Hacks happen everywhere. But it's a really nice, easy intro to two-factor authentication.
So this now happened 3 times. I get a, "Did you try to sign in?" And the problem is it's in Hebrew. If for someone from Israel, because my name is very popular in Israel, a lot of people have it, must accidentally have used my account to try and log in. And I get, "We're trying to log you in." The problem is it's in Hebrew and I can't read it. So I'm on my phone saying this, and so at this point I've learned that I found somebody who can read it without, in Hebrew, there are vowels, little dots underneath that I really need to read stuff or translation or whatever it is. And I go, "Oh, they're just trying to do that." But I know I have two-factor on. I know I feel safer like that, because if I didn't, I would really be scared.
I had a scare a couple of weeks ago. I got an email. My wife and I share a PayPal account, and I got an email saying, this random game app, charged $5 to the PayPal account. I had never heard of this game. My wife had never talked about this game. I freaked out and I changed all the passwords and changed my two-factor authentication code, changed the security questions. I went full security crazy on my PayPal account. Just trying to change every authentication method and all of the information I could before my wife says, "Hey, I can't log in to buy the stuff for my game." I was like, "Oh, that was legitimate. Okay, my bad." Try to show your family members, this is how you look at your account status. This is how you check online banking. Make sure stuff isn't there that you don't think it should be there, right? Because charges can sneak up on you. Make sure they know what to look for. Make sure they pay attention to the email where PayPal says, "Hey, by the way, some random app just spent $5 out of your bank account." Just paying attention a little bit can save them some hardship, especially with credit cards. Because if you catch that stuff, it's just gone. You can just say, "Yeah, that wasn't me," and they get rid of it.
So again, it's all these little things you're going to get ready to start dealing with. And if you have a positive mind and you can explain to people in a simple way what all this stuff is, like I don't want to even get into what a DDoS attack is or anything like that, but you can explain to them some little basic security principles, then you're far ahead of everyone else. And again, the more secure everyone is, the better the internet is overall. So,
and when your family member asks you what antivirus should I run, if you're on Windows 10, tell them nothing. It's built in. If you're on Windows 7 or below, please don't be below. But if you're on Windows 7 or below, Microsoft Security Essentials. If you're an 8, just go to 10 already. Don't bother with 8. Get off of 8. If you can't, Defender's built in there too. So Microsoft Security Essentials, Defender, keep them updated. They run in the background. They're great, made by Microsoft, and they're free. Everything else, every other AV product out there is probably a vulnerability waiting to happen. stay away from it.
And again, and always recommend them to our podcast. Again, if you want, I'll leave it with this. We put the WhatsApp link in the podcast profile. I've recently deleted it because we had a bot come in and spam us. So we took that out. And so if you want in, it's very, very simple. Comment, reply to us. It's almost instantaneous. You don't have to give us your phone number. I send you a link. You click on it. So don't feel bad that don't feel like there's a barrier to entry. Just we can't have nice things because the spammers and the bots get to it. So just @reply us and you'll get right in. With that said, we're done.
Yeah, I think that's about it. I think that's a pretty concise guide to, you know, tuning up and making your family members a wee bit more secure over the holidays.
And we're looking for gifts. So if you have some security type style gifts, probably for an upcoming episode, we'll do some secure gifts for the holidays. Anyway, I guess we'll see you. I don't know about next week, but we'll see you soon.
See you, everyone.
Bye. Stop.